Gang Minecrafters, it's your boy MC Rep, and so what we have here is my how to live in the end video. I think this world in particular is my long-term bedrock world. I've pretty much been building this world since the Village and Pillage update, and so, you know, if that gives you a timeline of how long I've had this world, eventually you just get bored of a world, you know? I've pretty much done everything. I beat every boss, I have plenty of farms, I have like a lot of the rare items. It just, and a lot of other things just like don't matter as much to me that I don't want to do. So like I feel pretty bored in this world. So I decided to come back to it and give myself, you know, one last challenge to do, and that is living in the end permanently. Now, we're going to be able to step outside here and look at exactly what I have in regards to this, and we'll be able to kind of go over what I did, and I hope that I can give you some tips to do it better. So in case you want to take this on, you don't have to do it like I did, because I kind of rushed a lot. I kind of just wanted to go, and I kind of just rushed. So we're going to go ahead and get into this. In terms of like how to do it properly. I think there's a lot of different things that can be done to make sure that you get the most out of the world. Now, the most important thing to do for living in the end permanently is setting up farms. You can see here's kind of the progress I've made over the few days I've played over it now. Maybe about 2 weeks or so. You know, like for example, we have a chicken and iron golem here. How do I have that? Of course, I just like brought chicken eggs. I have an automatic egg farm in the overworld, and I just took a bunch of eggs from that and brought that here. And here I have a village. Now, a village is definitely one of the most important farms that you can bring because they produce so many things. You know, the villagers themselves give you plenty of trades after, you know, you give them food. You can get emeralds, and then from there you can turn those into iron and diamond tools. You can turn those into maps. You can turn those into armor. You can turn those into campfires. Just various different things that you might want to get. And I think that's so important. Now, between like the chickens and the villagers, I would strongly suggest, you know, grabbing every single animal, you know, cows, sheep, pig, just so you can have all the access to food sources. You can have all the resources they give, because creating the village definitely was super hard for me because I did not take sheep with me, and I did not like prepare to like produce a lot of beds. I only took 2 villagers with me from like my nearby village and brought them here and like grew up the rest. But you know, if you have a village, villagers produce cats, and cats killed produce string. String can be turned into wool, and I turned that wool into the beds needed. So if you can imagine how long that might have taken, yes, that took for freaking ever. And we'll be able to see the cat farm over there. I think kelp is an amazingly great resource, and of course water easily renewable. So kelp, of course, being one of the best fuel sources in the game. My furnace is here, all kelp, all kelp. You just keep building it up. You just take down the entire farm, smelt it all, put it back into it, and then use just very little of it whenever you're smelting, you know, some stacks of food or an ore, you know. And I mean, living in the end permanently, you pretty much don't have an ore to smelt, unless I do like to smelt lots of chorus plants for block building, as you can kind of see with like some things I've built here with the chorus so far, or with the purpur in particular. I'm kind of just going to go all over the place, not too specific order, but I think kelp is great, and of course water easy to make renewable. Kelp is definitely one of the best things that you can farm. I think now that we have dripstone, we can, oh, it's already ready. We can farm lava as well. As you can see in this particular case, I have lava. I can probably, as you can see, the lava block up there, but you know, it doesn't have to be on a dripstone block in order to produce the lava into the cauldron. Now, I think this is something that I think Mojang should change, is that the lava in the cauldron takes away the assignment to the villager that goes here, which is really interesting. Oh, he just died. All right, boom. See? Iron Golem just died. Free iron right there. And free flowers for potential bees. I also brought bees with me. I haven't set that farm up yet, but you know, both flowers and iron are basically infinite from the iron golems as well, which I think is awesome. I prefer not to kill the iron golems myself, just so I don't have an extra thing to fight. You know, we're already on an island dealing with plenty of endermen. I think it's just best to not have an extra thing to fight myself. The endermen take care of them eventually, and the villagers will eventually respawn them. So I think it's better just to take it slow for me, especially since I don't have a strong iron need right now. But going back to the dripstone, as you can see, here's my chicken farm. I just created a fence, threw down as much eggs as I brought with me from the overworld, and made that work. Since we can form water and lava, okay. Of course, we can farm cobblestone as well. I meant to also make a basalt farm, but I grabbed soul sand instead of soul soil. I just I don't think I have a soul sand valley like near my nether. My nether's pretty old, and so it wasn't created in the nether update, so I had to fly out really far. So it was just finding a soul sand valley was difficult. You know, the one time I want to find it. But yeah, so I think having a basalt farm is just an extra block to build with. I find basalt very pretty, so I think that's a good thing to do as well. If you want that, you know, just an extra block to build with, because you know we want as many renewable resources as possible. Here's my dripstone farm. Unfortunately, I did not get that much dripstone. You know, as I said, this was an old world. I had to fly out pretty far to go find any amount of dripstone, and so I just got as much as I could in a small patch and flew back home. But as you can see, it's growing here. So you know, for growing dripstone, it does need to be on that dripstone block, and you put the pointed dripstone with the water above, and eventually like this one grew from that. This one actually like grew just like 10 minutes ago when I was doing my practice run. Can you go away, Enderman? And this one grew down here as well, probably today, I think, as well. If you've seen, I also have plenty of wolves around. The wolves themselves mostly just for fighting. You know, wolves don't have a resource, but I think in the early times when I was doing a lot of Enderman fighting, or just when I get bored and I want to fight Enderman, I'll take a lot of wolves with me and let them chomp them up. You see, I have some lava patches around just because I didn't have a place to put the lava that I was farming from on my dripstone farms. So you'll probably still see quite a bit of those all over the place. Here's my cat farm. Weird to call it that, maybe, if you're not a monster like me who can kill cats without remorse. But you know, this was my string farm essentially. You know, if you happen to want to make more bows or fishing rods or anything, then cats are your way to go if there's anything you need to make from string. But you know, that being said, fishing is also an amazing resource. You know, this fishing rod, I think that was the one I got from my home, probably. But yeah, I'm not sure. But just, you know, continuously fishing eventually will give you better and better fishing rods, and then you just get one with mending, let that build up on its own. You know, here's my tree farm. These are all dirt blocks underneath them. It's so important, so important to protect your dirt. Enderman can't pick up blocks that are like on a level surface. The dirt has to be like a block above where they're standing in order for them to grab it. So they can't grab any of these blocks. But as you can see, outside of the farm over there by the villagers, I have all of my farms are underground, so the Enderman can't grab my dirt. Because that was a huge problem. They just kept stealing the dirt, and either they probably just teleported away or despawned eventually or something, or I just couldn't get the dirt back eventually. But as you can see here, pretty much one of every plant we have, the berries are pretty much used for what you call it, bone meal in the composter for the most part, or just eat it if I have low food. But pretty much one of everything. I haven't gone the wheat just yet, so that's the next one I'm going to do. But you know, just one of everything, just to continuously get those food sources. You know, the pumpkins, as you can see, like the snow, it's all around here from the snow golems I had early on. Before I got the iron golems ready, and you know, the snow golems just produce more snow, infinite snow, and then you can shear the pumpkins off of their head in order to make more. Great way to just usually have something. Eventually, of course, just being able to smelt wood, turn into charcoal, turn into torches to light up the majority of the island. Don't really want to go over there too much. It's dangerous, and I don't want to fall in. Unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think gunpowder is a renewable resource, which means fireworks aren't renewable. So I don't want to like use electro try to depend on the last few fireworks that I have, because you know, with this project, I'm trying like to not go back to the overworld ever again. I'm pretty much stuck in the end, and I want to pretty much conquer this dimension in any way I can. You know, just want to spread my influence over this dimension. We haven't gone too far out on the End Islands yet. I have gone there. The path that you can see over there, we'll fly over there in a second, is my that I didn't fly. Okay, that wasn't cool. But there's been a bug recently. I'm not sure if anyone else has had this. Every time I go inside of the end gateway, it just teleports me back to the like right next to the central island, the exit gateway, the exit portal, which is really weird. Maybe I'll try that again on screen here just to show it, just in case it happens again. But this is my pretty much my path out towards it. Why it spawned like all the way freaking out here, but down there is the spawn in location, the obsidian platform where you spawn in. Of course, here's the end gateway if you can see that there. But yeah, this is pretty much the gist of it. That boat is still down there. I should go get that. But pretty much the gist of it, you know, bringing as many resources as you can over. Starting farms is the most important thing so that you can live and grow in the end. You know, because there's no ores, there's no like resources to actually maintain or gather except for like coarse fruit, which I think is a good one. But outside of that, there's nothing for us to actually gather in the end. And so, especially since endstone is technically non-renewable, you know, there's plenty of it, but outside of that, we don't have anything to actually do with a bunch of endstone. So I prefer to grow a bunch of purple instead. And so I think this has definitely been a very interesting project for me, definitely been a struggle, but I look forward to conquering this dimension essentially. Soon I'll be able to go out to the End Islands and do more things there. Now for, I guess, some tips, I think, as I said earlier, getting one of every animal so you actually have wool to work with from sheep instead of freaking farming cats like I had to do to freaking make these beds. Yeah, that was a terrible idea. Don't ever do that. That's just torturing yourself. And of course, you'll have leather. You'll have better meat to eat. Like instead of eating chicken or freaking just carrots all the time, you have you know, beef that you can cook and things. Like fishing, I think, is an important thing to do. Sometimes there's not a whole lot to do, but fishing is a great thing to do. We get plenty of mending books, bows, and fishing rods to work with. I'm not sure if it's me, but I feel like fishing in the end produces a lot more cursed items. I feel like I've gotten quite a bit of cursed items out from here, and I haven't thrown anything away. This is pretty much everything I've gotten. I moved it all to its own chest. And I'd say probably I can probably count it, but like I think like half of the items here probably have a curse on them, or maybe like a third. This chest was just me trading with the blacksmith, just trying to get upgraded trades. So I have iron axes for days, yay! And I've pretty much collected pretty much every ender pearl I've ever gotten from here, pretty much mostly from the iron golems killing the enderman, but you know, yeah. I think another tip would be, if you really can do it, bring only if you're playing on hard mode, because I play on hard mode pretty much all the time. Like even if I'm doing things like speed running or stuff like that, I just a pro gamer. I like to play on hard mode, no easy stuff. So if you're playing on hard mode only, I would suggest bringing a zombie here as well, and I think you can do like a zombification farm as well if you can set up a system where that can happen. I think like the Nitwit villagers is definitely a good villager to feed to a zombie to get, and then eventually over time you just kill those zombies, get rotten flesh, and they have a rare chance of giving you iron or gold, copper, so it makes those resources renewable as well. I have an axolotl here. I only brought one, unfortunately, so bring two, because with the fisherman you can get, or I think it's the fisherman, yeah, you can get like a bucket of tropical fish to breed with him. Okay, not you. Maybe the one that had it died. Okay, maybe he died. I don't have any other fishermen. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure there's something you can use to breed them. So get two, because you'll be able to breed them. Just because the water doesn't naturally have fish, you'll be able to trade for the thing you want for that. And it may even help just to go over all the villager trades that are possible, so you can see, hey, what resources do villagers make renewable that I don't like have to bring a whole lot of, or I don't have to stress out about because I can get to it, or which villagers do I want to prioritize leveling up and getting first so I can have those accessible. Under here I have, you know, like my netherrack and nylium and stuff. That broke. Okay. But unfortunately netherrack is not really renewable, and neither of the nylium, but I just decided I wanted to see it at least, so I have this tree. Eventually, like, I'll take it down and plant a new one just so I can especially have some more of the shroom lights. But I guess I'm kind of farming like the vines at least, just for either more of the bone meal, either to compost more or just to have it in case I ever use it. Unfortunately, I didn't have a warped forest nearby, but you know, yeah, that was kind of all I had. So that's pretty much the gist of it. I would say if you follow those tips, definitely make sure you get every fruit. Getting every resource every block that you can. You can make this much more worthwhile than I did, and eventually, like over time, it'll be so much better. So I hope to, maybe I'll share some more things here. If you guys really want, I can show my overworld. I planned on not going back, but if there's high demand for it, I'll do it. Here's my bees, the beehive ones. As you can see, they don't stack. I just haven't decided to put them down yet. I don't know where I want to. And this is my trading shulker box. And I suppose my overall final tip would be eventually, make sure you move, have backups of all the stuff. And in different places. So like this chest is kind of like my backup for like all of this thing. So I have 64, or I'm getting towards a stack of like every single item, just so if something goes horribly wrong, because this is the end, there's the void, things get deleted, Endermen take blocks, all that crap, that you have backups. And I think what I really want to do is especially get backups on outer end islands in the off case that an Ender Dragon just bugs in and respawns and just deletes all the blocks here. You have backups to work with. So eventually I'll be building a bridge like in that direction, given that I only have one thing there and it goes in that direction. So I can go in that direction for one conquering, and then I can build out that way to have another point of access. And eventually I'll just put another village out there. I'll just have more farms out there, more water, the whole 9 yards. So with that being said, that's pretty much, how to live in the end. With your cobblestone generator, with your wood generators, your farms, you will be able to eventually just keep continuously making everything. Like, infinite cobblestone, hey, I'll have infinite furnaces. With infinite iron, I'll be able to make other things, like make a hopper if I really want to. I was kind of thinking I might do that, actually, so now that I have a little more iron, I can probably go make a hopper and see if I want to do that. With kelp, you have your fuel. You just have so many different resources. With fishing gives a lot of different things. So just consider every possibility that you can have, and there's a lot that you can bring to the end with you to live here permanently, especially since there's water. I really like nether only survival, but not having water is definitely a huge downside of that. But we can have water here as well, which allows for a lot of different things like dripstone farming and things as well. So I think that's also important. So keep everything in mind and use every single farm to your advantage, and maybe you can make it look better than I did. I still have a lot of my remnants of my fight with the Ender Dragon first time, so that's why this ladder and blocks and stuff is here, and the buildings on those sides as well. Those just when I was fighting the Ender Dragon, just getting up there. So I wanted to keep that just as a memento. But and then this was just kind of a fun thing I really wanted to do. I'm out of food, but I can probably sprint up here really quickly. I wanted to do something cool on it, so I built a huge staircase all the way up this tall pillar. It's kind of one of my tallest pillars, so thought it would be fun. Just wanted to do something cool. I did it all with purple because purple I can continuously farm. And when you have farmable blocks, you can do this with basalt, you can do this with cobblestone, you can do it with stone, things like that. So when you have those farms, you can continuously grow, you can continuously do new projects. And if something goes horribly wrong, you fall into the void, an Ender Dragon respawns, whatever the case is, you will have those farms to be able to help you build those things up again, and you don't have to just give up and go back to the overworld because it's all gone. So taking the time out to establish these farms and nurture them will be the greatest thing that you can do for your long-term end survival. And I think this will probably kind of go into what I think the next end update will have, because I think that similar to the Nether, people don't naturally want to spend a lot of time in the end. Just there's the Ender Dragon. It takes so long to get here, and then there's not a whole lot of resources. It's really desolate, and then it's just really dangerous with the void and Enderman being one of the scariest mobs and things like that. So I think there's a lot of things that, similar to the Nether update, Mojang might want to do to the end. And when you live in the end for a long time, you can have an appreciation for what you have and what we might actually want to come to the end as a useful idea to actually add more to this, rather than just a cool feature that can come to the end, if you know what I mean. But let's talk about that when that time gets here. With that being said, Minecrafters, thank you for coming to this kind of last minute late video. I know I've been out of the game for a minute, but glad to be back and glad to bring you guys some more content. That being said, don't be a Fortnite fool, Hytale hypocrite, or a Roblox reject. Always be an amazing Minecraft master. Stay blocky.